guys, TinaGale here, back with another layout. I have these photos of my son. This is in 1993. We used to travel around and do craft shows. I would do toll painting and all of this. So these were for some fun snapshots of him when we were set up there. He was such a trooper when he was little. And I thought this summer collection, this is from June's double shot kit from the ScrapRoom. I thought this was perfect. He's got his little red shirt on here, wagons and pinwheels. So let me show you real quick what's in the double shot kit. This is, you get two collections, so this is one of them, Good Day Sunshine from Echo Park. And I have the sides of the paper up that I have decided that I want to use. I like this one with all of the words for summer on it. Some apply, some don't. But we did camp out, so that is appropriate. The back side has more swimming type theme, which really doesn't go with the photos, but I could use that side. Multicolored stripe, which is always perfect for anything. And the back side's a 3x4 cut apart. I'm going to try to keep this one because I might need it for my journaling because these are busy papers, so I'm not going to be able to write right on top of it. But I don't use a whole lot of 3x4 cards the way they come. I usually fussy cut items out of them to use for embellishment. So I'm working with the stripe. And then this was my main reason for wanting to use this collection, is this fun little wagon with the pinwheels on it. And the back side is this blue floral. So that's going to work well too. I'll probably pull some of that in. And then I have the white cardstock and a dark blue cardstock. The embellishments that came with this kit is the chipboard accents, and I am planning on pulling this in. I love these campers, but I really don't know how to use them on layouts. Didn't really think, how in the world could I use that? But being in an outdoor craft show, we did camp in a little trailer. And it has camera and this Summer Days banner, so I'm hoping to pull that in. I had thought about the little teepee, but since I'm using the camper, I'm going to probably not do that. And even the little toll painting piece here has a watermelon, so I may be able to pull that little watermelon in and some popsicles. So we'll see what I do with the embellishments. And like in the last few videos I've done, I've been trying to pull out some extra little embellishments, things that I could add in with the kit so that I could use up. The first thing I did was, the collection that came with this one is the Bright Side from Fancy Pants. And I went through it. There's some red and white twine, so that's perfect. There's this little label trimmed in red, so I could use that if I need it for a date or whatever. And there was this that says, today is a good day to have a good day. And this is a little bit lighter, but it does match in. So I don't know. I pulled those out because I'm really bad about just using what goes with that collection, even though it's all in one kit. But I decided to look in the rest of the double shot kit to see what I could pull over. And those definitely are possibilities. I've got out a couple of border punches. This is always my go-to. It's a small scalloped punch from Close to My Heart. It's discontinued now, but this is one of my favorite punches. And I'm thinking I'm going to do a little small scallop border. But then this is a new one that I got. I love the spiral notebook punches, and I had borrowed one from a woman at a scrapbook event that I was at, and it had the circles, and I loved it. So it's been on my list. I finally ordered it. It just came in. So I thought, well, that might be kind of fun to use it. So I grabbed it. I'm going to try to use it. Then from way back in my stash, if you've been following my videos, you know I had some flair. I don't really buy flair, but I have just a few little pieces, and I want to get them used up and out of my stash. So I have these 4, and I felt like they went really well with the colors of the paper, and even goes with the theme. And then, oh, I also have this one. Isn't a pack, but it has the BU. So the rest of them don't really match, but I'm thinking that might work. I don't know. Just threw it over there. Then for smaller pieces, I have these brads, and since this has a black accent to it, I thought it might be fun to pull in some of the black brads. I had this one in the last video. So it has the cream with the red. And if you notice in this collection, it has cream colored in the cardstock. This one's kind of between a white and a cream. But the embellishments are on white, and I have white cardstock. So one of the ways that you can use white and cream together is to make sure you pull in white and cream, like that would have a white and then that have a cream. Maybe let's go to the red. So if you're intentional about pulling your embellishments and pulling the white and cream all the way through your design, then you can pull it off and it works just fine. This one here, I have this little brad that has all of the colors in it. Then there's also some blue and some gray, but I was mainly looking at this one here, and maybe the red with the stripe. So I just pulled it along, and this one was just for these two lone little brads here that are red. Again, love brads, have several in my collection, but I just don't seem to get them on my pages. So I'm being intentional to pull that out and try to get it in. Then I also went to my standbys of enamel dots. I have these red and dark navy blue stars, or just red faceted gems or red hearts. So those are always easy for me to use, but I decided to go ahead and pull them out just in case I wanted them. Then I have a couple of these acrylic pieces, and I thought that would be cute on there, and it matches, and again I'd be pulling some white onto the cream. So I just stuck those up there as well. So we'll see how much of it I can get into the kit to use up some of my stash along with my new supplies. Another thing I wanted to talk about, in these photos you can see there's a lot of clutter, a lot of background. Things that you might normally cut away, that, you know, he's the focus and that's the cute part of the picture and we really don't need any of this other stuff. And if I had scrapped these closer to when they were taken, I probably would have. I would have cropped all those out and then just made these two cute, fun little pictures. But in retrospect now, looking back, I kind of want some of this stuff left on the page and in the photo. This tells about a time in our life when we were traveling. I was doing a whole other kind of art form in this decorative painting. I used to own a store. So it has some of those pieces that I made a long time ago that I don't have anymore. I didn't keep any of that stuff. I sold everything I made. It also, this is going to be kind of funny, but I'm sitting over here and you can't see me because that was not the subject, plus my husband's taking it, so he's not even thinking about me sitting here. But you see these little canvas tennis shoes and these slouch socks. Okay? That tells so much about this time period. I would not be caught dead in these canvas tennis shoes and slouch socks today. But that was the trend and the style back then. So I don't want to cut that out. I want to sit and kind of see that little bit of history and laugh about it. So I am going to intentionally keep everything in the photo. And I actually could cut this one closer, and it's darker. So this one's very light and very much in focus. But there's no way I'm not going to include this one because of this sweet little face. And you can tell this one came first. And we were trying to get him to smile and, you know, I don't know if he was covering his face because of the sun or if he was just being ornery. I don't know. I don't remember. But I definitely want both of those expressions, even though this one's darker. Now, I could cut away some of that one and then just scrap a full one and a light one. But then it just kind of looks awkward to me. So I really want to put both of them together and scrap it as a whole story. So when you're looking back at photos and you're thinking about cropping out noise and distractions, I would encourage you to stop and think about 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road, looking back at those photos. Is there anything that you would want to keep as a part of your history when you're scrapbooking those photos? Sometimes there may not be. I mean, sometimes that may just be clutter and it needs to be cut out. Sometimes when you think far in advance, you're going to think, you know, He may not remember. I know he does. He remembers my artwork, and there are things my family has that I've done, so he's fully aware of it. But you know, he was just a few years old, so he might, if these items weren't around or other people in our lives didn't have some of my artwork, he might not remember that, and that would be something that I would want my children to know. You know, this is what your mama created, or my grandkids. You know, my daughter was not born yet, so she doesn't remember anything like us traveling. So this gives her a bigger snapshot and a bigger visual of the story of what our life was like before she came along. So that's just something to think about. So I'm going to put you on fast forward and start cutting up papers, and we are going to get this layout done, hopefully really, really quick. I decided to just go ahead and cut that wagon paper for a large chunk of the background. You can see I cut the white cardstock down and matted it on that navy. And then these are the border strips. I love that floral. It's going to be just a pop of different color. And I went ahead and used my notebook punch there, the spiral punch. And then I cut just a really thin strip of the stripe. And so that's going to be the borders that I'm going to put behind this wagon paper. And I just want a touch of that striped showing. I don't want very much at all, just enough to kind of break it between the blue and the wagons. And then that red paper that had all of the fun summer words on it, I wanted a lot of that showing. I tried to cut it where the words that were showing had something to do with the photos and the story that I was going to tell on this layout. I do cover up quite a bit of it with the photos and the embellishment in the end, but again, the words that I wanted to draw attention to, they are still showing. And here I'm sticking that blue border punched paper up underneath there and then tucking in that striped. And I thought it would be easier if I didn't cut it to size so that I didn't have like a gap or whatever and then trim it. And I'm not so sure that it was any easier, but it was a thought anyways. So I just roughed up some of the edges a little bit because I don't want them laying down flat. I want it to look like it was really ripped out of the page of a notebook. And then now I'm just kind of deciding, you know, where that needs to go for the photos. I did decide that cut apart, I'm going to use it off to the left here to put my journaling on. And I haven't done my journaling yet. I want to sit and really think about the story I want to tell, because I think this is really the only photos that I have of this time. I have one other layout that I've done of another show that we did in this particular spot. Telling a story about him and another little girl that would always meet when we set up at this show, and they became great friends. So I do have that layout. So I really want to think about my journaling before I get it on here, because I want to make sure that I tell the whole story, because I may not have another layout to do that. So I just fit my photos there where I could get that journaling card to the left. And I'm going to end up moving it over just a little bit. I thought I wanted it to run off the white cardstock a little bit, but the more I looked at it, I didn't like it because I don't have anything running off on the right-hand side. So I end up moving my photos over just a little bit. Well, actually, I pick up the whole red piece, I think, and move it. But I pull that journaling card up underneath the photos and bring it into the white cardstock so that it's more similar to the opposite side of the page. And then I had pulled off all the different embellishments that I thought would work. And this part went together really quick because I knew what I wanted to put on the page. I just needed to figure out what spots that they fit in best. So I do get that acrylic word love and summer days and just made that my title. And of course that little camper that I wanted to use, because I have no idea where I would use that again. And now I'm just tucking in little bits and pieces and just building them up. I did get that watermelon in there too, as you can see, and the twine. I went ahead and tied that around the little pinwheel so it gives it a little bit of texture. And I'm still working with these flare badges that I've been trying to get on a page. I do get this one on the page. I'm not so sure that it's you know, any awesome design choice or whatever, but I get it used, and I get 3 more of those fabric covered brads used, and lots of the other little black brads and a couple of the red ones and stuff. So I was really happy to get those supplies used up on my page with my new kit and my new products coming in. So you'll have to forgive me here at the end. I got interrupted. My daughter called me and wanted me to go shopping, so I ended up just shutting the camera off and then when I came back, I pretty much had everything laid out, so I just needed to adhere it. So I didn't turn the camera back on when I came back and did that. But I did turn it back on for just a little bit. So here you'll see it, you know, all adhered down. And then I decided to go ahead and spritz some black Heidi Swapp Color Shine. And I had my little enamel dots. These are the stars. So I decided to use those around. And I think I chose navy in all of them. And I thought those were so cute, and I felt like I had a lot of red going on, but I needed to carry the blue over into the other embellishment, especially up at the top. I felt like I was really lacking some blue up there. So these little star enamel dots were a perfect little finishing touch. And then I'll add my journaling, and that's going to be it. So I hope you enjoyed this. I'm loving scrapping some of these older photos and getting some of my stash used in with my new kits and my new supplies. I hope you'll give it a try too. Be sure to come over to the Scrap Room to check out their kits and the other layouts that are done with by the design team and stuff. It's really fun to see what everybody else does with their kits. So here I'm just going to show you a little close-up of the little clusters because I felt like my camera was kind of dark here. So I hope you have a great day, have some happy scrapping, and I will see you back here soon. Bye-bye.